All right, what's up, veterans, and welcome to another episode of The Veteran Entrepreneur. Today's episode 11, and I wanted to talk about when you should be building a team. This is one of the most common questions I hear the most inside of the tribe. By the way, if you're not in, it's a Vetpreneur Tribe. It's the world's largest online community of military veteran entrepreneurs. I started it, and we all grow it every day, so definitely join that. Now, if you are wondering when is the right time to build a team, I wanted to have a conversation with you about that right now. So there's a couple of ways to do it. Now, my first thing I'm going to tell you, my first piece of advice, the moment that you can start using team members, start using them. Because what that's going to do is going to free up your time to go do other things. You see, a most common misconception in the veteran entrepreneur community is you got to do it all on your own, right? And you don't have to do it all on your own. It's actually much better to bring a team on board when you can afford that, when you have the resources for that. The reason behind that is sometimes what you do is different than what others can do, right? And sometimes other people are better at things than you are. Now, what most of you go out and do, what you try to do is you try to do it all on your own because you don't trust other people, because you don't think they'll do it the way that it needs to be done. Why worry about hiring someone else when I can just do it myself, right? That's the most common reason as to why people don't hire teams. I don't want to deal with a headache. I don't want to deal with the W-2 forms. I don't want to deal with the tax issues. I don't want to deal with the insurance issues and all that, but there's always a way around it. So I want to talk about a couple of ways that you can do this right now. Number one, if you are just starting out and you don't have the capital to bring on team members full-time for a full salary, here's a suggestion. What you do is a revenue split. You do a revenue share. X percentage goes to that person, right? So if you're, for example, in Vetpreneur Tribe, we have a magazine, the Vetpreneur Tribe magazine. Now, I've never created a magazine before. I'm horrible with grammar and or written communication. It's just not my expertise. So what I did was I went to the tribe and I offered someone the position, and my offer to them was I can pay you a flat fee every month, or I can give you equity in the magazine. They took the equity, so now I give them 30% equity of the magazine for the life of the magazine, which means as long as they stay on as editor-in-chief of that magazine, I don't have to pay them a salary. I don't have to pay them monthly fees. I don't have to do any of that. And they actually come in and they run the entire magazine for me. I don't have to worry about it anymore. So I'm still profiting 70% of the 100% I would normally profit off of that magazine. This is one way that you can do it if you don't have the funds to bring on someone full-time or a salary position or even just hourly. Now, if you have the funds to come on and bring someone on board with paid rates, here's a couple of ideas. One, start out low. Make them build their way into your company. Don't just offer people a bunch of money. Right now, there's a couple of ways that I do it. I don't hire full-time team members. I focus on contract services. What this does is it makes my life so much easier. Now, and it means more to them. They work harder for their own business than they would ever work for me, right? So what I do is I have them go in and I hire the services. I've got Jason Lonan, who's actually designing the magazine. He's doing all the graphic designs for it. He's doing all of that work, and I'm paying him to do that. I've got Cody Hines, who's printing all the shirts and the hats for me, right? I've got all these different moving pieces inside of Vetpreneur Tribe. I have 6 to 7 different revenue streams going on right now, and each one, I barely have any work inside of it because I hire out contract services. I hire services instead of employees. Now, I highly suggest this until you're to a point to where you need full-time staff. Go contract services. Find a way to contract people out. Always, as I always say, support veterans. Hire veterans to do the services for you. But for example, anytime I need a logo design, Sean Briggs is the guy I go to. Anytime, every month, Jason Lonan will be doing the design of my magazine. Rusty is my chief editor, who's going to be handling all the content, editing all the pieces. Then you've got I got Cody Hines, who's doing all my physical merchandise and printing all of my shirts, hats, and even my logos onto boxes, coffee mugs, everything that I could want, he can do. So what I have is I have a team, but I'm not their boss. They are not my employee. I am just hiring their businesses to do the things that I don't want to do. I've got Brian Floor who is actually writing the blog posts of every article every day. And I'm paying him for every article that he writes. And again, it's easier to hire out and hire people's services, hire other business owners, hire entrepreneurs to do these services for you instead of having a full-time staff, instead of worrying about the W-2s, the 1099s, the the insurance needs and workers' compensation and all the legal backlash of hiring employees, the training, and you don't have to worry about all that. So my suggestion is don't go the salary route, don't go the even part-time hourly route. Hire businesses to do what you don't have time to do. And if you can afford those businesses to do that, start doing that now. Because what you should be spending your time on is content, just like I'm doing right now. Every day you see me on here, and I'm doing content every single day. That's what you should be doing as an entrepreneur. You should not be sitting there spending so much time going around, sorry about the kids, but you should not be spending so much time doing everything else inside of your business, writing the blogs, building your websites, creating your logos, designing your magazines, editing every piece for the magazine, printing every shirt and printing every hat. You shouldn't be doing any of that. As an entrepreneur, you should be focused on content and creating whatever product or service that is that you sell, and that's it. You should not be focusing on all the rest of it. So my suggestion is build a team now of other entrepreneurs and business owners. Again, the reason behind that, all right, is not just because you don't have to deal with the legal backlash, but an entrepreneur, a business owner is going to give you better results than any employee ever would, because they want to satisfy you, because they want you to give them a testimonial, because they want you to be word of mouth, spread through word of mouth. So what I suggest is build your team now and hire out services, hire out people who can do it for you without being an actual staff member. Now, when it comes time, you're making enough money, you need a full-time staff, start doing it. But my biggest mistake last year was I hired a team too fast, too soon. I got into too big of an office, and I made a lot of mistakes. I lost a lot of money, and I dealt with a lot of legal backlash because I tried to grow too fast instead of just hiring out contract services. So that's my input for you today. Go out, kick ass in business as you always do, and I love each and every one of you. Y'all have an amazing week.